Exit Watch Flyers. David here. Today we're going to talk about my favorite Hyatt Award stays. So currently coming at you from the Grand Hyatt Kauai. Right behind me, this is the lagoon right in front. I have the beach right in front of me. It's really beautiful here. This is definitely one of my favorite places. The resort itself is just amazing. This one costs 25,000 Hyatt points per night. Throughout the video, I'm going to share with you my 4 favorite Hyatt stays, how many points they cost, as well as show some pictures and some of my favorite features of those Hyatt stays. All right, so let's start with my first Hyatt stay. I'm going to do this in chronological order. My first one was at the Hyatt ZIVA Rose Hall, Montego Bay, Jamaica. That's a mouthful. It was an all-inclusive resort in Montego Bay, Jamaica, so food was included, drinks were included. This was back in 2015 or 14, I believe. I'll definitely double check and put that in. The cost was 25,000 Hyatt points per night, and the rooms I think were around $300 to $400 cash price. I'll double check that and include this in the video as well. I stayed with my wife and daughter Bella, who was actually only 1 year old at the time, so she was actually included. We didn't have to pay extra for her. And this was an amazing experience. Hyatt in general is my favorite chain of hotel. Just to do a quick comparison, I'm here at the Grand Hyatt Kauai, really amazing property. I have a tour video on this property, really amazing. The only thing is food isn't included. The Hyatt, the one in Jamaica, the all-inclusive, was amazing and food was included. I believe there were 8 different restaurants, a bunch of different bars. There was entertainment at night that was included. There was like a jerk hut, or like kind of like jerk chicken. It's like a Jamaican barbecue type of thing. They had that on the beach, which was really great. And being with a 1-year-old, it was really nice not having to worry about where we were going to get our food and if we had to prepare food and where we were going to store it. Everywhere we went, she was able to eat whatever because there were so many different options. The beach was really nice. The only thing was you could tell that they imported the sand because there were rocks and kind of like reef type of things on the sand, and it rained really hard one night and a lot of the sand kind of disappeared and then the rocks revealed themselves. So besides that, the beach was pretty nice, a little small compared to others, but it was still a really nice property. With Hyatt in general, I've had really good luck getting upgraded. So if you are a Hyatt card member, so the Chase World of Hyatt card, I highly recommend getting that card. It's a really good card. So it gives you automatic Discover status. And with that, you get upgrades when available. You always want to ask for an upgrade, whether Hyatt or any other hotel. When you're checking in, just ask if there's any available upgrades. And if there are, they'll give you a nicer room. So upon checking in, we were able to get upgraded to a sea view, which was really beautiful. It was right on the sea with palm trees, and there weren't too many people. It just got like a nice view out of the ocean, or not the ocean, but the Caribbean Sea. Next Hyatt hotel that was one of my favorites, just because it has a lot of sentimental value to it and memories, was the Grand Hyatt Bali. So this is in Bali, Indonesia. This was back in 2016. My daughter Bella was 2.5 at this time. The reason why this was a really special stay is because it's when I got married to my wife Christine, and Bella was a part of it. So we were staying in Bali for about a week, and we went to a couple of different Airbnbs around Bali, really beautiful. And then we decided for our wedding days, we actually got married on the beach in Bali, and for our wedding days, we decided to stay at the Grand Hyatt Bali and splurge a little bit, so points per night to stay there. And also another thing, when you book award stays with Hyatt, so this place would have cost, I think, $35 per night resort fee if you would have paid cash price for it, or even, I think, points and cash. But because this was all with points as well as the one in Bali, we don't have to pay the resort fee. So if you're staying a few nights, the resort fee of $30, $40 could definitely add up. You know, for 4 nights, that's almost $120 that, you know, you didn't really expect to pay to begin with. So paying your Hyatt stays completely with points will help you avoid paying that resort fee. So the Grand Hyatt Bali was really nice. Our first room was right on the ground floor overlooking the pool. We thought this was not a good idea, but in hindsight, it would have been a better idea because of the kids. So we got moved to another room. Rooms are really beautiful around the property of the Grand Hyatt Bali. It had kind of a lot of Balinese cultural accents and little things to let you know that you're in Bali. Otherwise, it's just kind of a really nice resort and you don't know where you are. So with the Grand Hyatt Bali, it showed a lot of character. The grounds were really beautiful, a lot of frangipani trees. Not sure if that's actually how you pronounce it, but it had the flowers and really beautiful cut grass and lakes with little ducks and geese and swans and all that type of stuff. It was really beautiful. The property was beachfront as well, and the beach was pretty nice. We went into the beach, and it was really beautiful. Nice sand, like kind of tan, brownish sand, and it was a pretty big beach, especially compared to the Jamaica Hyatt. So when it comes to these big Hyatt resorts, one of the cons, at least for me, is that there's no kind of neighboring area where you could get local food or local culture. The Grand Hyatt Bali, one of the things I liked about that is that there was a fruit market really close by. So we were able to get a ton of dragon fruit and snakeskin fruit and mangoes and bananas, all types of fruit, which were really close by. It was, I think it was maybe like a minute or two cab ride. And our taxi driver actually drove us free because he wanted to drive us somewhere else the next day. And the brand of Grand Hyatt is just a huge resort. It's just a massive property. So in Bali, it was a massive property, really big. Just to walk around the whole thing would take almost an hour just to see everything. There's just so many things going on. There were a few restaurants which were okay. The breakfast buffet was actually really good. I think that I definitely recommend. We ate at a few different restaurants there, and I'm gonna be honest, the food was okay. It wasn't anything to rave about, especially for the price, because the price you don't have any options when you're staying on these big resorts to eat at other places, like to walk anywhere or to a strip. So the food was really expensive, and it was okay. Next Hyatt experience was at the Orlando Convention Center in Orlando. So this Hyatt is not as big and fancy resort-like as the other ones on the list, but it was really good because it was only 8,000 Hyatt points per night to stay at this Hyatt, and it was in really close proximity to Disney World. Universal is actually, I think, right across the street from Universal, but during that stay, we went to Animal Kingdom for Disney World. So this was in 2019, so fairly recent, and it was a few months ago. We went to Disney World, and we were able to stay at this Hyatt hotel. It was a decent room. It had everything we needed. It had a bed, it had a pull-out sofa, it had a refrigerator just to keep our baby food, and this was actually a trip that we did with my daughter Bella, who was 5 years old at the time, and my daughter KAUAI, who was, I think, 7 months at the time. So this was a family trip together for us to be the four of us at a Hyatt. And one of my favorite things about this Hyatt was that it was, they had a free breakfast, which was really good. It was actually one of my favorite hotel free breakfasts that I've ever had. It was really good. If you look at the pictures here, it doesn't do it justice, but the food was really good. They had tricolored potatoes, they had a different style of eggs. But I think the big feature here is that it was so close to Disney World at a price of only 8,000 Hyatt points per night, which was really good. Otherwise, it would have cost, I think it was $260. For the 3 nights we were there, it was going to cost $864 total if we were to pay cash. But because we used points, it only cost us 24,000 Hyatt points. And the most recent Hyatt stay is the one I'm at right now. So currently at the Grand Hyatt KAUAI in Hawaii. Kauai is just one of the 8 islands that make up the state of Hawaii. And it's a really beautiful resort. So I did a tour of this property this morning, filming around. I woke up at like sunrise, like around 6 a.m. to do it when nobody was here. The lighting was perfect, really beautiful. But in order to walk all around, it took me an hour and a half. This property is just massive, huge. Definitely the biggest Hyatt property I've been to, bigger than the Grand Hyatt in Bali. So the beach is really beautiful. The only issue with the beach here is that there's a lot of rocks, so you can't really swim in it. It's not really for kind of recreational swimming. There are some experienced surfers and bodyboarders, but it's mainly for experienced people. You're not gonna find your average tourist going in the water here. One of my favorite things about this property is right behind me. This is a salted lagoon. The network goes around, it's huge, and it has sand around the edges. So even though you can't go in the beach here, the actual ocean here, you can go here and kind of get that same beach experience with sand, and it kind of eases into the water, and the water itself is salt based, so it's not like chlorine like the pool, which is actually behind this lagoon over here, which is massive as well. But this is salted, which I really like as well. It gets pretty deep here compared to the pool. It could get to I think almost like 8-9 feet in this area, and it's just massive. There's rocks around, a lot of vegetation, palm trees, flowers all on the side of it. Gives you like a real nature experience, even though you're in a completely manicured environment. And the grounds itself is really beautiful. They put a lot of work into this. The lobby area has kind of like an open courtyard, which is really beautiful. And then it shows kind of like almost a picture frame, big window, right by the Seaview Terrace, which is the name of the restaurant / lounge. Opening into the sea, it's like a picture frame, and you get that bright blue Hawaiian ocean feel. There's some parrots in the courtyard. This is a really beautiful property. So I was fortunate enough to get upgraded here. This was actually a very last minute stay. So much last minute, I think it was yesterday we decided at maybe 1 or 2 p.m. to reserve this place, and we showed up at 5 p.m. So just a few hours before, we decided to book this last minute stay here. And I was worried about getting the standard award rooms, so I paid 25,000 Hyatt points for this. Didn't have to pay any resort fees or anything like that. And usually the standard rooms, award nights, are facing the parking lot, which is okay. You know, it's like a free room is a free room. But on the phone, when I spoke to the representative to reserve a room, I was able to get upgraded just by asking to a garden view room, which is much better than a parking lot view room. But then when I went to the desk to actually check in, I asked again if I could be upgraded, and the woman was nice enough. And you know, you always want to be nice and courteous and polite. She was able to upgrade us to the pool view, which is perfect because we were on the ground level, perfect for our daughter just to go outside and go right to the pool right in front of us. We didn't have to go through an elevator or hallways or lobby. We just open up the sliding door, walk right out, close the sliding door behind us, and then go in later if we wanted to. It was perfect. The room itself was pretty spacious. We had a queen bed, king size bed, and after speaking to the representative up front to see how much that room would have cost if we would have paid cash, because we booked it the same day, they said it was going to be around $500 if we were to actually pay cash for that last minute stay. So 25,000 Hyatt points, around $500, that's 2 cents per point, pretty standard with Hyatt. And if you are going to stay here at the Grand Hyatt Kauai, I definitely recommend trying to upgrade. If you're going to do an award stay, try to upgrade to at least a garden view or pool view rather than the parking lot view. Especially if you're going to come here, you're going to use a lot of points, you're going to travel a long ways to come to Hawaii. You want to make sure your view, your room is really nice. So it was cool, like we got to see the pool and a little bit of the ocean from our room, which is really nice. And the food here is really good, also really expensive. So we went to Dondero's, which is an Italian restaurant, Tuscan style, really nice decor in there. And the food was pretty good there. And we also did the breakfast buffet this morning. That was pretty good as well. You know, both are a little pricey, a little expensive, but that's what you're going to get when you come to a Grand Hyatt or any resort style hotel, and with the restaurants not included or any food not included, usually, you know, the prices are going to be a little higher. Also, one more thing about the pool, cool thing, they have a water slide, which is pretty cool. and it's almost exactly the same as the Grand Hyatt Bali. So I'm going to do a video comparing the Grand Hyatt Bali and the Grand Hyatt Kauai, because I see a lot of similarities. They're almost identical, especially being in the tropical island feel. So I'll definitely do a comparison video there. So if you've ever been to any Hyatt hotels or you're planning on it, let me know down in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you want to learn more about Hyatt points, Hyatt credit cards, or anything like that, I have a playlist right over here. Definitely click that right now or click this link down here, and I'll see you in the next video.